So hey guys, you see this little yellow pepper hanging behind me? That's the datil pepper that everybody in the entire world who orders from Baker Creek got for the last 2 years. Did you grow your datil peppers? Because, last year I didn't. Well, I tried, but it was late and, I thought, wow, they germinated fairly easy. And, they wanted to be a plant, but it was too late in the season. So I'm looking through my viewfinder. My datil peppers, I'm going to turn you around. These are 3 plants that are like little Christmas trees with ornaments hanging on them. So hang on, I'm going to turn you around, let you have a closer look at what a mature datil pepper looks like. Wow, check it out. Will you look at this? So they're everything that I thought they were supposed to be, including from a heat level on the Scoville scale. I think these guys are probably really up there. I forget what the number is. Farmer John, when you edit, will you put the number of datil peppers on the Scoville scale? The description we're getting from the people that we're sharing them with, and including Farmer John's opinion, is they are hot and the heat hits you, but it doesn't hang around. It kind of dissipates, and that it's very, very flavorful. I can't attest to it. I have not tried it. Now, just look at the size of these, what I'm calling shrubs. They're well over 4 feet tall. They're covered with little tiny peppers. Now, they do start off green. They, originally stayed green for a very, very long time. And I thought, okay, these guys are never going to mature and turn yellow. But wow, I just dropped that one down into the ground. Once they start turning, the whole plant turns yellow. And you will be met with a profusion of these amazing peppers. Now, I started looking up some recipes and some things about the datil pepper, and evidently anyone who lives in Florida and uses, this is what I read, hot sauce, that most of the hot sauces down in Florida and different restaurants and such are grown from the datil pepper. Now, it is an easy plant to grow. It takes up space. If you're going to grow this datil next year, I know it's a little bit late. I had to wait to show you now in August because this is when they're coming up to peak performance. You're going to want to cage them, stake them, and make sure you can tie them off, because this one here fell down in that windstorm that I had mentioned briefly in my last video. And from our experience, when a pepper plant goes down or suffers trauma, it creates a greater capsaicin load. I can tell you that when I cut into these peppers, my hand is on fire up to my wrist. So anyway, if you're growing these peppers and you see that your plants are getting really, really large, and you're finding, that your peppers, I just harvested most of them off, the yellow ones, but you have a ton of green ones going. The green ones are still just as good. They have a different level of heat and a different level of flavor from what I understand, but it's important that you pull off your ripe fruit. Don't wait for it to all ripen at the same time, because it won't. This pepper will produce peppers until, frost sets in. But if you allow it to go to seed and it starts to shrivel up and dry off, the plant's going to assume it did its job and it's going to stop producing. So if you want a plant that is going to produce for you all season long, make sure you harvest your ripe peppers so that the plants themselves can continue producing. And I encourage feeding with bone meal and blood meal right up until maybe 30 days before you have a frost. Now, I didn't really know what to expect, and I haven't really, applied myself to too many recipes with it, even though I'm reading up about, you can make cowboy candy, and you can make, what I think sounds interesting is like some different pepper jams. And I do like the hot sweet thing together. I've been hearing a lot about hot honey. You could probably use the datil pepper for hot honey. And they are container friendly. So if you have the free seed and maybe you don't have a big garden, and you want to isolate them from any other peppers, I don't know if they can cross-pollinate and make another pepper really, really hot. That only happens if you save the seed from this generation and try to grow it into the other next year, with your flowers cross-pollinating. If you have a sweet pepper and a hot pepper together this year and you go to harvest, it won't affect this generation of pepper, so don't worry about that. But if you're saving any of those sweet seeds and you want to grow sweet seeds next year from your own, fruit that you harvest, be aware that a hot pepper seed could possibly cross-pollinate. So, but anyway, if you're looking for a pepper that grows really prolifically and has got some heat to it, you might want to consider the datil pepper. And again, it was free seed from Baker Creek. Now, I don't know, I'm trying to make sure you guys can see me with the crazy light. I don't know if that is still something that they're giving out this year, because they did venture off into some other really cool free seeds, like I got banana peppers. I was so lucky to get shishito peppers this year. Now, I didn't grow from the free seed pack, but I have old seeds from Baker Creek that are shishito, and then I have new seeds from M.I. Gardner. So let me show you some of these shishito peppers as well, because I had something very strange happen. These are the biggest shishito peppers that I have ever grown. Now, these, I don't know, somebody else had a conversation on one of the garden forums, might have been Baker Creek, about how large their shishito peppers are. Now, this isn't even the biggest shishito pepper. Somebody said, that's not a shishito pepper. You might be right. And I've questioned whether it actually is or not. It seems like a shishito pepper. It tastes really good. Some of them do have a little bit more heat. But there's still a thing called peppergate, where you think you're planting a seed for one type of pepper and you get something else. I also had it with tomatoes, where I got different tomatoes than I thought I was growing. This guy here is pretty big too. So this, this is another free seed that we got from Baker Creek. So it's a great opportunity when you're buying these plants and you get these free seeds that you might say, like I got bok choy, a little level of some miniature personal size bok choy this year that I'm going to grow for the fall this year. And I thought, I'm not really a fan of bok choy, but you know what? I'm going to try it because I might love it. And this is how you find things out. So you may not want to give up precious space in your garden to grow something that you're not going to enjoy, like a hot pepper. But it's an opportunity for you to get some experience, discover whether you like it or not. Here goes another big giant one on another plant. And then if you don't like it, you can share it with somebody that will enjoy it. Now, that's another conversation I wanted to have with you guys. Where's my hod? Is about what it is that you share with your neighbors or your friends or your family, and what actually happens with the food that you share. So that's a video that I want to make for you guys, but I didn't want to miss the opportunity to talk to you about growing peppers and, finding out what your experience was with this datil pepper. Now, if you grew it for the first time this year and you've tried it, please let me know how it grew for you. Please comment whether you like it, whether you're going to grow it again, if you shared it with anybody and what their opinions are. And, I've been thinking that I'm going to take some of these datil peppers because they're too hot for me. And I can only grow so many for Farmer John. I've given some to people at his job that love hot peppers, and I've given some to my neighbor next door who makes food for her temple, and they love the spicy hot food. But now I thought, okay, what is it that I can do with these things, besides, putting some in the freezer and maybe trying my attempt at some sauce, so starting to get creative with it, and I think I'm going to come up with ideas, and whatever I come up with, I'm going to show you. Now, I prefer the heat level of the shishito pepper, and I really love the flavor of jalapenos. Oh, you know what? I'm going to show you Megatron as well, because I grew those for the first time this year. Shishito peppers, or whatever they might be, that is, part of Peppergate. Wow, look at the size of this guy. You have to try. Jalapeno, to me, has such amazing flavor, especially when it's pan blistered or roasted. These guys here, I want to encourage you. This is from Park Seed. These are the Whopper bell peppers. Now, this is little compared to the ones that I have pulled off. This is staying mostly green. It's a true green bell pepper. This was a very prolific plant, somewhat prone to some scorch and some blossom end rot, but it seems to be working itself out. I also grew California Golden Wonder, I have a couple babies here that are coming back. They actually did turn golden, and they did incredibly well this year. Let's see, I have some inside that I can probably show you. This is keystone resistant that I've been growing for the past couple years from a plant that I bought at the farm stand a few years ago. I saved the seeds and I've been growing them for the past couple years. This bell pepper does turn beautiful bright red on the vine. I would encourage you to grow that pepper as well if you can get the keystone resistant. Now, we had some pretty good success with the peppers this year, and I want to talk to you about my theory on why they've grown so extremely tall and are growing so prolifically. But before I forget, I want to show you a few more. These are a nice set of Cubanea, or Cubanelle, some people call them. This is a delicious sweet frying pepper, or an Italian pepper that's delicious pan blistered or roasted in the oven. And you can see they turn orange. Absolutely incredible when they are orange. This is a Jimmy Nardello, incredible pepper. We have several of these growing. Again, I like to pan blister with not too much oil and not too much high heat because they do burn quickly. But the Jimmy Nardello tastes like it was cooked on the grill. Absolutely incredible. Peppers are full of vitamin C. Hot peppers have niacin and capsaicin. It's wonderful for your veins and your arteries. Jimmy Nardello's is considered a sweet Italian frying pepper. It's so worth growing. The colors of it turning on the vine are amazing. And if you need to pull them early, once you see that it's starting to get a little bit of a blush, it will finish off on your counter. They are all prone to scorch though. Even look at this giant Marconi. Again, the pan blistered flavor. There's something about fresh peppers. I mean, you can harvest them. There's so many. I mean, again, these pepper plants have been they're like Christmas trees with ornaments, and giant Marconi's doing really well this year. And you know, when I have too many, I do slice them up, take the seeds out, make sure they're clean and dry but not wilted, and then I just put them in a double freezer bag, and they're good in the freezer for like 2 years. The only downside is that they do tend to be a little bit more watery when you take them out and cook them, but if you roast them, it's just fine. So these pepper plants have grown so tall, and I think it's because we used shade cloth this year, and I can attach that video for you if you have not seen it. But wow, look at the size of this Notapeno. I had to take the shade cloth off about a week or so ago because the plants were so tall. We didn't anticipate that our not tomatoes, did I say tomatoes? Our pepper plants were going to grow 5 feet tall and still continue to get height on them. Now, so next year we're going to build posts to put the shade cloth up high like we should, but this year the shade cloth went up as an emergency because, you know, we had the heat dome going again. All of our peppers were getting scorched, so we thought, why not just let's order some shade cloth. So again, go back to that video and check that out. But the height of these plants, the Sunbright pepper from M.I. Gardner, grew really well. I want to show you the size of this jammy right here. It's a gigantic pepper. It's bigger than my whole entire hand. Like, I would need at least 2 hands to try to wrap around this pepper. So, you know, this plant is well worth growing, as well as the coral bells. You could see the difference between them turning coral yellow and these Sunbrights ripening to a high bright yellow. See, this guy down here is starting to get a little bit yellow. So once they start to ripen on the vine, I usually pull them off because it's high pest pressure right now, and I'll let them ripen inside on the counter. But lots of bugs like them too. So, and banana peppers, just let them, once they start to turn coral, that's when they're most delicious. And shortly after they turn a corally orange, they will turn a beautiful bright orangey red color. And I've been harvesting so frequently that I don't have any on the vine to give you an example of. I might have some in the house though. So today is supposed to be the last of the heat wave for And it's actually the last of August as well. You know, so I might have needed the shade cloth for a day like today, but I think they're going to be okay, because once the peppers get to a maturity of this height and canopy, you can see that, you know, they do shade themselves. Now, when you have baby peppers growing and it's been a long season, let me turn you around and give you a closer look at what I want to show you. As I get eaten by mosquitoes, I have no good light here because I waited too long to make videos today. You can see flowers and you can see the baby peppers forming. Now, if you haven't had an opportunity to feed your peppers, they really do benefit from some basic bone meal and blood meal. Blood meal will ensure that you get the nitrogen you need, and it will help you form a large canopy. The bone meal helps to produce fruit. Bone meal has a lot of calcium in it, phosphorus, there's magnesium. These are all things that a pepper needs to form and become, you know, full of healthy cells, just like we do as people. So when you look at the health of your plants and how they're growing, it really is an indicator of what the human body also needs in order to perform, to grow, have longevity, and it's an example of good health. And so you want to make sure that your plants are fed properly, even late into the season, because peppers tend to do their best late in the season. They are slow growers, and if you give them enough shade in a high heat area, and they can make it without burning out, having too much water or not enough water, you will have peppers until the temperatures freeze at night. Now, we should have, you know, at least a month, maybe two. Historically, you know, it used to get very cold in September here, but now in northwestern Burlington County, New Jersey, we are experiencing warm days into December often, allowing us to hold on to the peppers much longer. But the Marconi pepper tends to last the longest. I don't know what these guys are going to do because it's our first year with them. So I stopped growing jalapeno peppers, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 seasons ago, because the last jalapeno pepper that I grew was so obnoxiously hot. It was on some level of the Scoville scale that, I don't know, even Farmer John and other people who are, you know, the kind of people who say, I can eat the hottest pepper and it doesn't burn and I'm not even going to make a face when I eat this pepper. You know, it's okay. Be brave. Eat the hot pepper. We shared them and everybody said that is the hottest pepper that I have ever had. Now, we have hot, dry conditions in the microclimate of our backyard here. So we produce the hottest jalapenos and serrano peppers. I couldn't even function after I tried one. Well, this year I decided to give it a try. I saw the Megatrons, and you know, initially I thought I don't want to try to venture into hot peppers again, but let me give it a try. Farmer John was complaining that he wanted the taste of some jalapenos. So I went and ordered the Megatron, and initially while they were growing, just touching them, their oils made my hand burn, and smelling them I could feel capsaicin burning. Well, it turns out that in their maturity, they're not as hot as I thought they were going to be. Why their outer oil is so hot, I'm not really sure, but they grow beautifully, and they grow a very large pepper, and they chipotle very, very quickly, so they get nice and bright red. It seems to me that the redder they get, the heat seems to calm down a little bit, but I do take the seeds out. Now, I made a mistake of confusing my gigantic jalapenos that had chipotle'd in with some of these Megatrons, and I ate the whole entire pepper. Well, after just telling you that, you know, I'm very sensitive to the heat. Yeah, I didn't know what happened when I bit into that pepper. It was so darn hot. But let me turn you around and show you how these plants are growing here. They're really incredible growers. So, I'm getting eaten alive here by these terrible mosquitoes. It's just a really bad year. The Megatron from Botanical Interest, I didn't investigate to see if it comes from any other seed suppliers, so I got mine from Botanical Interest. They grow very, very large jalapenos, and they do get big enough that you can stuff them. Now, I don't want to pull any because I have some in the house that are nice and bright red that I can show you, but Yeah, they are really incredible. They're quite flavorful, and their inner cavity, when you take the seeds out, is so large and thick-walled. You can stuff them, which is what I heard, you know, is the best use for them. I guess maybe for jalapeno poppers. They hold up really well through the handling process, so they don't split as easily. Oh, here's a beauty. Hopefully you can see this. Yeah, so that's what color they turn. This one's a little bit small, but the big giant ones that are several inches long, at least twice as long as this one here, turn this beautiful bright red color. So the boys are over there freaking out, so let me turn around and see what's going on with them. Yeah, what's going on? Are you guys going to be good for us so we can edit these videos and help to reach people out there who are trying to be gardeners? You got to be good and quiet. But I'm going to take you in before you get too hot, sweetheart. Let's go in. Okay, so I came in to bring the boys in. I want to take the opportunity to show you some of these giant Megatron peppers. You can see how big they are. Now, I don't have large hands, but this is a very, very large pepper. And like I said, when they turn red like this, they are at their peak of flavor. This is the Keystone Resistant that I was mentioning a few moments ago. And here is a banana pepper on its way to becoming fully mature. Now this banana pepper in this beautiful coral orange phase starts to get a little bit more soft. It's very delicious, but it will turn as red as this jalapeno here. This here is this is a California Golden Wonder. And I don't have any, this is a California Golden Wonder. Also, I don't have any Sun Sprites out, but they're probably the same color, just shaped slightly different, more of a narrowed lobes on the bottom. But yeah, so here's like, this color is phase 2 of banana pepper. This color is phase 3. This is phase 4, and then as I said, phase 5 will look more like this. Giant Marconi, oh my goodness. This is on its way to becoming really, really delicious. So can't wait to have these guys as well as everything else that I'm pulling in today. I have a few cantaloupes that look like they're going to be good. I've had a really good year with cucumbers this year. So, but hey, today I'm talking about peppers. So let me go back out and get my hod that is full of peppers and before it gets too hot. And I'm supposed to be trussing tomatoes. Now, I'm a very personal level of person, so it's really hard for me to be that YouTuber who doesn't just like let you in. I am not a how-to person by any means. Like I said, we're students of the garden. So there's always going to be a detour in our videos that either involve the birds or something else that's going on. And because I have attention deficit, I'll start talking about why our lawn looks the way it does. And then once I see a butterfly, you know, everything goes out the window. I'm just going to talk about butterflies. But right now I'm going to finish filling up the hod. And what like I was saying, what encouraged me to make this video for you was when I saw just how many ripe peppers I had and what the Datil pepper actually, looks like. And I wanted to know if you try to grow it. So listen, if you guys have the Datil peppers, you don't know what to do with them, or you tried them and they're growing, you haven't tasted them yet, like I said, a couple quick tips. Of course, share them. Put some in the freezer. Try to make a recipe. When you take the seeds out, it does lessen the heat a little bit, but be prepared. You might, if you're sensitive to pepper heat, you may want to put on some gloves because the capsaicin does burn. And these peppers are pretty hot. So some recipes that I'm going to be looking at, maybe I would encourage you, if you like pepper jellies, hot honey, pepper jam, cowboy candy. I'm going to be getting into hot pepper sauce. And the reason I don't really have a lot of that available is because I quit sugar. It's a whole other video. What a life-changing decision that was. So anyway, you guys, peppers are healthy. Vitamin C, capsaicin, niacin, all those wonderful things. So good for your blood vessels. So you might want to consider, if you got the Datil pepper, to just give it a try. Grow it in a pot or grow it and give it away if you don't want to eat it, like is what I'm mostly doing. So anyway, guys, it's the Datil pepper from Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. Thanks for watching, you guys. I hope to see you in the next video.